July 19th, 2024. 8.5 million computers crashed globally in under 6 minutes. 8.5 million. Every Windows machine running CrowdStrike's Falcon security suddenly displays the blue screen of death. Delta Airlines grounds 1,400 flights. Surgeries get canceled across 3 continents. Trading floors go dark. Bill Gates, retired from Microsoft for 17 years, is summoned to Redmond for emergency strategy sessions. The media blames CrowdStrike. Microsoft's PR team points fingers at their security partner. But here's the truth Microsoft is hiding. They approved the update mechanism. They certified the partner, they profit from the partnership, and 4 months before the crash, a security researcher sent them a detailed warning about kernel-level driver risks. Microsoft's response then, working as intended. Now, 8.5 million machines are dead, and Microsoft claims no responsibility. When you see the internal documents, you'll understand this catastrophe was entirely preventable. And Microsoft chose profit over safety. Hospitals next. Emergency room systems crash at Memorial Healthcare in Cleveland. Patient monitoring dashboards go dark. MRI machines offline. Scheduled surgeries delayed because anesthesia equipment can't pull patient records. By 8 a.m. Eastern, 47 surgeries across 3 hospital networks postponed. Banks discover it when branches open. ATMs display error screens. Online banking dead. Trading desks can't access market data. New York Stock Exchange delays opening 90 minutes. This isn't IT inconvenience. This is infrastructure collapse. The cause becomes clear fast. CrowdStrike's channel file 291 contains a logic error. Kernel mode driver, ring error access. Deepest level of Windows, absolute privileges, no safety checks, no sandboxing. When the faulty driver loads, it triggers a null pointer dereference. Windows kernel can't recover. Blue screen, instant crash. Every machine running the update suffers identical fate. Security researcher Kevin Beaumont publishes analysis at 9:30 a.m. And here's what's really damning. He'd warned Microsoft about this exact risk 4 months earlier. March 2024, Beaumont submitted a detailed report. Kernel-level access for third-party security software creates single points of failure. One bad update cascades globally. No rollback mechanism exists. Microsoft's response then, enterprise security requirements necessitate kernel access. Our partner certification process ensures quality. They certified CrowdStrike, approved the update mechanism, knew the risks, shipped it anyway. Sarah Chen is Director of IT at Precision Manufacturing, Portland, Oregon. 200 employees. Every workstation runs Windows 10 with CrowdStrike Falcon, required by their largest client for cybersecurity compliance. July 19th, 7 a.m. Pacific. Sarah arrives at the office. Every computer frozen. Blue screens everywhere. Production floor machines offline. CAD workstations dead. Accounting can't process payroll. She spends 2 hours on hold with CrowdStrike support. Finally gets through. The fix: boot every machine into safe mode, manually delete the faulty channel file, reboot 200 machines, no remote option. Safe mode disables network access. Sarah and her 2-person IT team spend 18 hours physically visiting every workstation. Production stops entirely. Client orders miss deadlines. The company loses $340,000 in guaranteed contracts. Precision Manufacturing had spent $28,000 on CrowdStrike licenses, required by the client. No choice. Now Sarah's done. She's migrating the entire company to Ubuntu Linux. Alternative endpoint security solution costs $12,000 total. No kernel level dependencies, no forced updates from partners she doesn't control. By September, precision manufacturing fully migrated. Microsoft lost an enterprise customer because they prioritized partner revenue over system stability. And Sarah Chen isn't alone. IT directors worldwide are making the same calculation. The convenience of Windows isn't worth the catastrophic risk. The question everyone asks, why does third-party security software need kernel-level access in the first place? The answer reveals decades of architectural decisions Microsoft made that created this vulnerability. Windows kernel architecture dates back to NT design from the 1990s. The kernel runs in Ring 0, most privileged execution layer. Applications run in Ring 3, isolated and restricted. Ring 0 access means absolute control. No permission checks, no sandboxing. Code running there can do anything. Security vendors demanded kernel access because malware operates at kernel level. Rootkits hide in Ring 0. Advanced threats manipulate kernel data structures. To detect and block them, antivirus companies argued they needed the same deep access. Microsoft agreed. The Windows Security Center API allows certified partners to install kernel mode drivers. CrowdStrike Falcon uses this access. So does every major endpoint protection platform. And here's the smoking gun. Microsoft profits directly from this arrangement. Their security partner ecosystem generates an estimated $2.1 billion annually. Enterprise licensing bundles, co-marketing agreements, Azure integration fees. Gold partners like CrowdStrike pay for certification. Microsoft promotes them to enterprise customers. Everyone profits until something breaks. July 19th, something broke catastrophically. CrowdStrike's internal testing process failed completely. The faulty channel file 291 pushed to production without staged rollout. No canary deployment to a small user subset first. No gradual percentage-based distribution. Just instant global deployment to every Falcon customer simultaneously at 12:09 a.m. UTC. Standard software engineering practice dictates staged rollouts for exactly this reason. Google rolls out Chrome updates to 1% of users first, monitors for crashes, expands gradually. Apple's iOS updates deploy in waves. Even Microsoft's own Windows updates use staged distribution rings. CrowdStrike skipped all of that. Why? Internal Slack messages leaked to The Verge in August reveal the pressure. CrowdStrike's threat research team identified a new ransomware variant. Sales team pushed for immediate protection deployment. Engineering warned about inadequate testing time. Management overruled them. Ship it now. Protect the brand reputation as fastest to respond security vendor. The technical details are damning. Channel file 291 was supposed to contain updated detection signatures for the new ransomware. The file format uses a proprietary binary structure. One field in the structure contained an invalid pointer value. When Falcon's kernel driver attempted to parse the file, it dereferenced the null pointer. Kernel panic. Crash. No recovery possible. CrowdStrike's code review process missed it. Their automated testing didn't catch it, and Microsoft's partner certification program never required them to prove staged rollout capability or rollback mechanisms. Microsoft certified CrowdStrike as secure, trusted them with kernel access on millions of machines, never audited their deployment practices. Marcus Rodriguez is Chief Information Officer at Memorial Hospital, Cleveland, Ohio, 450 beds, 1,200 staff. Every clinical workstation, every diagnostic machine, every patient monitoring system runs Windows with CrowdStrike Falcon. Required by HIPAA compliance audits, required by malpractice insurance. July 19th, 1:47 a.m. Eastern. Marcus gets an alert. Hospital systems offline. He drives to the facility. Arrives at 2:30 a.m. Night shift and chaos. Admission records inaccessible. Patient vitals dashboards blank. Radiology can't retrieve prior imaging for comparison. The emergency department has 6 patients mid-treatment. Nurses writing everything on paper, 1970s protocols. Marcus and his IT team spend 4 hours manually fixing machines, boot into safe mode, delete the CrowdStrike file, reboot, repeat 380 times. They get critical systems back online by 7 a.m. But 6 hours of patient data is lost. The monitoring systems don't retroactively log. Medication administration times, vital sign changes, lab results ordered verbally, gone. 47 scheduled surgeries delayed. Anesthesiologists won't proceed without complete patient histories in the system. Can't risk drug interactions, can't verify allergies. By the time systems are fully restored, the OR schedule is destroyed. Patients who fasted for morning surgery rescheduled to next week. Memorial Hospital faces 12 lawsuits from patients whose care was disrupted. One elderly patient's heart arrhythmia went unmonitored for 3 hours during the outage. She suffered a minor stroke. Her family is suing for $4.5 million. Marcus Rodriguez spent 15 years building Memorial's IT infrastructure, all Windows, all Microsoft, integrated with Azure Cloud Services, $240,000 annually. Now he's done. The hospital board approved his proposal in September. Complete migration to Linux-based hospital management systems, open source electronic health records, endpoint security that doesn't require kernel access. Migration cost $1.8 million over 2 years, but the board agreed. They can't risk another CrowdStrike incident. One lawsuit costs more than the entire migration. Microsoft lost a healthcare vertical customer permanently, and the hospital's malpractice insurance carrier sent a letter. Continue using Windows with kernel-level security partners, and premiums increase 18%. Switch to architectures with better fault isolation, and premiums stay flat. The market is punishing Microsoft's architectural decisions. The insurance industry sees the risk Microsoft refuses to acknowledge. Microsoft's official response arrives 14 hours after the crash, July 19th, 2 p.m. Pacific. Blog post from the Windows Experience team, 3 paragraphs, carefully worded. We are aware that a CrowdStrike update has caused system issues for some Windows users. We are working closely with CrowdStrike to understand the impact. Customers experiencing issues should contact CrowdStrike support directly. Notice what's missing. No acknowledgement of Microsoft's role. No mention of the kernel access permissions Microsoft granted. No discussion of the certification process that approved CrowdStrike's update mechanism. Just deflection. CrowdStrike's problem, not Windows. Reality tells a different story. Microsoft controls the Windows Security Center certification program. Microsoft defines technical requirements for partner access. Microsoft approves which vendors can install kernel mode drivers. Microsoft shares revenue from enterprise bundles that package Windows licenses with partner security tools. This isn't a CrowdStrike-only failure. This is a systemic architecture problem Microsoft created and profits from. And when 8.5 million machines crash, Microsoft's response is to point fingers and offer no solutions. The manual fix nightmare becomes clear by midday. IT administrators worldwide discover the same horrifying reality. Remote fixes don't work. The machines won't boot to Windows. They crash during startup before network drivers load, can't push automated scripts, can't use remote desktop, can't deploy management tools. Every single affected machine requires physical hands-on access. Boot into safe mode, navigate to see Windows System 32 drivers, CrowdStrike, delete file, Caesar reboot. Pray it works. For organizations with hundreds or thousands of machines spread across multiple locations, this is impossible. And it gets worse. 60% of enterprise Windows deployments use BitLocker drive encryption, required by compliance standards. When you boot into safe mode on a BitLocker encrypted machine, it demands the recovery key, 48-digit alphanumeric code, unique to each machine. IT departments are supposed to store these keys securely. Microsoft's official guidance recommends Azure Active Directory backup, but many organizations never properly documented their BitLocker keys, lost in forgotten spreadsheets, stored on systems that are now crashed, inaccessible. For those organizations, their encrypted machines are bricked permanently, data inaccessible, no recovery possible without the key. Reformat and reinstall is the only option. Tom Jenkins owns a small bakery chain in Austin, Texas. 8 locations, 45 point-of-sale terminals, Windows with CrowdStrike, required by his payment processor for PCI compliance. July 19th is Friday. Weekend traffic is busiest. 40% of weekly revenue. At 9 a.m. Central, every POS terminal crashes. Customers can't check out. Credit card readers won't process. Tom's staff tries cash only. Half the customers don't carry cash. They leave, go to competitors. Tom calls his IT contractor, gets the bad news. All 45 terminals need manual fixes. The contractor can visit 2 locations per day. Full recovery takes a week. Tom loses the entire weekend. $23,000 in revenue gone. By Wednesday, Tom's done with Windows POS systems. He orders iPads, Square point of sale, cloud-based, $127 per terminal, no Windows, no CrowdStrike, no kernel-level dependencies that can brick his entire business overnight. Microsoft lost that customer forever. Riverside School District serves 12 schools in Northern California, 4,200 students. Every classroom has Windows computers, student records, grade tracking, individualized education plans. July 19th, the district's central server crashes. Student information system offline. Teachers can't access attendance records. Special education coordinators can't retrieve IEP documents for legally mandated meetings scheduled that day. The district violates federal disability law because their systems are dead. IT Director James Park and his 3-person team work 72 hours straight, 340 machines across 12 campuses. Everyone needs physical access. Some schools are 40 minutes apart. They finish recovery July 22nd. The damage is done. School board receives complaints from parents. Threatened. Lawsuits over IEP violations. The superintendent demands answers. James presents his recommendation. Migrate to Google Workspace for education, Chromebooks for student devices, 0 licensing cost, cloud-based systems, no local failures. The board approves it unanimously. By September, Riverside School District fully migrated. Microsoft lost an entire school district because one partner's bad update destroyed trust. Nina Patel is a freelance video editor in Toronto. commercial projects for advertising agencies, high-end work, tight deadlines. Her workstation is custom-built Windows, Intel i9-3900K processor, 128GB RAM, dual RTX 4090 graphics cards, handles 8K video editing perfectly. She runs CrowdStrike Falcon because 2 clients require endpoint security for anyone accessing their file servers remotely. July 19th, Nina is rendering final exports for 3 client projects. Deadlines that afternoon. Her machine crashes at 11 a.m. Eastern. Blue screen. Won't recover. She spends 6 hours trying to fix it. Finally gets it booting, but her scratched disk, a secondary drive where she stores active project files, got corrupted during the crash loops. 3 projects, 60 hours of editing work, gone. Clients are furious. One threatens to sue for breach of contract. Nina delivers degraded versions from backup exports. Loses $18,000 in follow-up work from angry clients. She's done with Windows. August 2nd, she buys a Mac Studio, M2 Ultra chip, DaVinci Resolve instead of Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro as backup, alternative endpoint security that doesn't touch kernel space. Microsoft lost a professional creative customer because their partner ecosystem values corporate compliance revenue over individual user stability. Class action lawsuit files, August 2nd, 2024. Law firm Keller Postman represents 340 businesses across North America. Total claim damages $4.7 billion. The complaint names both CrowdStrike and Microsoft as defendants. CrowdStrike for pushing an untested update, Microsoft for creating and certifying a dangerous architecture with inadequate safeguards. Microsoft's legal response arrives August 9th. Motion to dismiss. The argument: Microsoft provides Windows as is. The end-user license agreement explicitly disclaims liability for third-party software. CrowdStrike is responsible, not Microsoft. Users read that response and understand the truth. Microsoft takes billions in partner revenue, but accepts zero responsibility when the partnerships fail catastrophically. You're on your own. The enterprise exodus begins in September 2024. 2 months after the crash, corporations make calculated decisions. The CrowdStrike incident wasn't a warning. It was proof that Windows monoculture creates unacceptable systemic risk. Deutsche Bank announces it first, September 18th. Press release. The bank is migrating 50,000 employee workstations from Windows to Red Hat Enterprise Linux over 24 months. Cost $340 million. Reason stated: diversification of operational technology platforms to reduce single point of failure risk. Translation: they can't risk another global outage from one bad Windows update. Deutsche Bank isn't alone. UK National Health Service freezes all Windows contract renewals pending comprehensive security architecture review. 1.3 million NHS workstations currently run Windows. The review committee's preliminary recommendation, leaked to The Guardian in October, transition to Linux-based systems for non-clinical workstations over 5 years. Clinical systems require custom evaluation. The financial impact is staggering. Microsoft's enterprise licensing revenue from NHS contracts, approximately $180 million annually, all of it now uncertain. United States Senate Committee on Homeland Security announces hearings October 3rd. Subject: cybersecurity risks in critical infrastructure from software monoculture. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella receives a subpoena. CrowdStrike CEO George Kurtz receives one too. Hearing date: November 14th, 2024. Senators want answers. Why did 8.5 million computers crash simultaneously? What safeguards exist to prevent recurrence? Why are critical systems dependent on architectures with single points of failure? European Union opens formal antitrust investigation October 11th. The preliminary question: did Microsoft's security partner revenue model create perverse incentives that prioritize profit over system stability? Did the certification program adequately assess rollback capabilities and stage deployment requirements? EU Competition Commissioner Margrethe Vestager makes a statement. When a single software update can ground airlines, close hospitals, and freeze banks across 24 countries simultaneously, we must examine whether market dominance has created dangerous dependencies. Microsoft's stock drops 6.2% the day the investigation is announced. Market research firms start tracking Windows Enterprise market share monthly. The data is damning. July 2024, before CrowdStrike, Windows holds 73% of enterprise desktop market share. January 2025, 68.8%, a 4.2 percentage point drop in 6 months. That represents approximately 18 million enterprise seats switched to alternative platforms. Linux enterprise desktop share jumps from 11.4% to 14.1%. Mac enterprise deployments up from 15.6% to 17.1%. The migration is real, measurable, accelerating.